Hello and welcome to the relearning for the complementary and the supplementary angles. In this relearning, we're going to go over three main concepts. One is the complementary angles, one is the supplementary angles, and then we're going to cover a little bit about solving equations with variables on both sides and variables on one side, because that's a huge part of this standard. In here, the first section we have is the complementary angle. A complementary angle adds to 90 degrees. You should be writing everything that I write on my paper on yours, and then follow along, and there'll be some problems that you'll need to do on your own. A complementary angle is a right angle. So if you see this angle right here, you can see that it is a right angle. And I'm telling you, because it is a complementary angle, it is a right angle. So when we do that, we're going to have two steps. We're going to set this x plus 10 is the degrees of this angle right here, and x plus 40 is the degrees of this angle right here. It's the opening, how big it is opening. And those are going to add to the outside angle. So we have one angle right here, and then we have another angle right here. And they share the leg of the same angle. So right here is one, and here is another. This angle measurement, that's the largest one, is right here. It's kind of hidden. It's x plus 40. We have to figure out what x is and then add it to 40 to get the actual degrees for the opening of our angle. This angle plus this angle will add to 90 degrees. We have an x and an x, which has a ghost 1 on the top here. X plus x gives us 2x. Combining our like terms, 10 plus 40 gives us 50, and that adds to 90. We don't subtract on both sides yet. We have to combine our like terms. So if we can look at this first part here on its own, and then we just carry the 90 down here. So x plus x gives us our 2x, x plus 40 equal 50. We're going to subtract 50 from both sides. That 50 plus a negative 50 gives us a 0, putting our 2x here. 90 minus 50 is 40 degrees. Solving for this, we're going to divide both sides by 2. And our x, our hidden number right here, is 20. So going back in here, the first angle is our x is 20. Plus 10 gives us 30 right here. X is our 20, 10 is given in the problem, and this is equal to 30. Now in our directions, it tells us that we should solve for each angle. Sometimes it asks for just x, and sometimes it asks for each angle. Here, the angle measurement for here is 30. This one has to be 60, because 60 plus 30 will add to our 90. X is 20, 20 plus 40 does give us our 60. So our answers are 30 and 60 for each of the equations, for each of the openings we have here. This is the other kind. This measurement, if we were to measure it with our protractors, we would see that this is 180 degrees. So the measurement of this angle opening plus this angle opening, those are going to add completely to this angle here. So this one is also hidden with the algebra. So we have 4x plus 20 is the opening here. That's a number. We don't know what the number is because we don't have no x, but we will know when we're done. This one here is 2x plus 10, and the little sign here is a degrees symbol. That equals 180. The opening here plus the opening here equals the measurement of our big line here. 4x and 2x are 6x. 20 plus 10 are 30, and that equals 180. Again, we're just combining the terms. We're just adding these together, the things that we need to add together, and we're subtracting the things that we need to. But right now, 4x and 2x are positive, so we're going to add them together. 20 and 10 are positive, so we're going to add them together, and that equals 80. The 30 and the 80 are on opposite sides of the equal sign, so we're going to subtract 30 from both sides. 6x plus 30 minus 30 will give us our 6x. 80 minus 30 is 150. Divide both sides by 6. 6 into 150. 6 goes into 150 2 times. That's 12 with a 3 down. 15 minus 12 is 30, or is 3. Bring down the 0 gives us our 30. 6 into 30 goes 5 times, so our x is 25. 5 times 6 is 30, is our 0, 25. So now we're going to put those back into our angles. 4 times 25 plus 20 is going to equal 4 times 25 is 100 plus 20 gives us a total of 120 for this angle opening, which makes sense to us because its opening is larger than 90 degrees. It's an obtuse angle, and that's an obtuse degree. So this angle here should measure 260 degrees. 2 times 25 plus 10 gives us 50 plus 10 equals 60. Those are our answers for our two angles. This angle opening, when we measured it, if we were to put our protractor here, we would put our vertex is right here. If we were to measure that, the vertex is here, this is our angle, the degrees of the opening would be 60 degrees. The degrees of this one opening would be 120, and the two of them added together would equal our angle right here, which is 180. Down here on the bottom, is what I've noticed with these, some of you, is that you can set up the problem, but you have a little trouble solving for the variables. You have a little trouble solving for the variables that we have here. So I included some problems that we could just practice solving for the variables. Okay, so here we have variables on both sides of the equations. So if we were to look at this here, the 2x and the negative 122 can't be added together. The 122 doesn't have an x, and these aren't like terms. If we were to look at the other side, it's the same. 148 minus 7x. Those things are not the same and can't be added together. However, we can't solve for this. We need x on one side, and we need the number on the other. So you can choose which one you want to start with, and I'm going to start with the 7x. The negative 7x here, I'm going to add 7x to both sides because negative 7x plus 7x will give us 0. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So that gives us 9x. We didn't do anything to this negative 122, and we didn't do anything to this 148. But negative 7x plus 7x equals 0. Now we have a problem that's very similar to what we've been doing all along. We have a whole number on one side, or a constant on one side, and a constant on the other. We're going to add 122 to both sides. We didn't do anything to the 9x, so the 9x carries along. And 148 plus 122 can be added together because they're like terms. 8, 9, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives us 270. And just checking my math. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 270. So now we're going to divide both sides by 9. So 9 into 270. 9 goes into 27 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. That gives us 0. Bringing down the 0, our x will equal 30. So if we were to plug that back in, 2 times x minus 122 would be the exact same number as 148 minus 7 times 30. Let's take a look at this one here. I chose this one because of the x. The x has a ghost 1 on it. It has a ghost 1. Always, when you see a x all by itself, it has a ghost 1. So I'm going to choose again, just because I could choose to add 6x to both sides, but I'm going to choose the same method, so I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. 1x minus 1x will give us 0, so this is just 33 plus 0, or 33. Negative 6x plus a negative 1x will give us a negative 7x. And then that minus 79 just carries along. We're going to add 79 to both sides. Do you see the pattern? We took care of the variable first, and then we took care of the whole number. Took care of the variable first, and then we added. So we added the opposite here, and then we added the opposite here. We're going to do the same thing. We added the opposite here. We're going to add the opposite here. So we have a negative 7x equals 9, 10, 11, 12. Adding those together, 10, and that's 112. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, just checking my math. 7, 11, yes. We're going to divide both sides by negative 7. Do this off to the side. 7 into 112. 7 goes into 11 one time. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4, 2, oh, there it is. 7 goes into 42 6 times. And our answer is x equals 16. However, we need to check our sign here. This is positive and this is negative, so our answer is negative. Same thing, add the opposite for the variables on one side, add the opposite of the numbers. That's when the variables are on both sides of the equal sign. There's something on both sides of the equal sign. That's when you add the opposite. Okay, up here on this one here, we have 6a plus 5a equals a negative 11. 6a plus 5a equals a negative 11. Now if we were to cover the equal sign, you can see that what we have left both has variables, so we can add those together. That's 11a equals negative 11. Again, we're going to divide both sides by 11. A equals a negative 1. You are going to try these last two here for your practice, as well as these two down here. You have to choose, when you see these, they add to a set number. You have to choose which one adds to 180 and which one adds to 90. Looking at over here on this side, using these as examples, this is the main process of this, and this is and then the algebra is how we solve it. There's 2 steps. Okay, make sure you sign your name to the bottom of the paper. Thank you.